All right, hello everyone. So I am picking up again off from the first video that I had recorded just on basics knowledge that you guys should know about plants. And so today's video, like I said, is body parts of vascular plants. Yay! Okay. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and all right, so I'm going to teach you guys pretty much the body parts of a vascular plant. And so a vascular plant is a plant that produces a fruit or a flower. And so there are two main systems in a vascular plant. And so there's the root system and then there is a shoot system. So they kind of rhyme. And we're always going to start from the bottom and work our way up. And so we're going to go over the root system first. So our photo on the right shows us our parts of a root system. So kind of starting off, we have three parts of this root system here. It's our primary root, our secondary root, and our tertiary root. What you need to know about the primary root is that it also has another name. It's also called a taproot. And what this is, it's important because it's the first part that grows out of a seedling. And so this is going to be the sturdiest part of the root, and it's going to go deepest into the soil. And then it's also going to be the main root. So some plants do not have this taproot or the main support. Instead, it's what you're going to see over here on your left. It's called a fibrous root system. So when they don't have a main support system, such as these secondary and tertiary roots, it's just going to be a fibrous or a spider web looking root system, and it's low support, and that's going to be mostly found in grasses. So to continue on with this, our secondary root and tertiary roots are pretty much what you think of when you see these branches, and those are also called lateral roots, and they're called lateral roots because they extend laterally from your main root. And the secondary one branches from the main root, your primary root, and a tertiary root branches off of your secondary root. Okay, and so the next part we're going to go over is our root cap. So when you see it, it looks like a cap that you would wear on your head. So that is what our roots wear. The roots have this cap because it helps with cell division and it allows the roots to continue to grow. And so a lot of times when you have plants that are dying or they start to turn yellow, it could be a lot of from different causes, but one cause may be because they no longer have this root cap, which is a purpose for cell division and means your roots are no longer growing and absorbing nutrients. And speaking of absorbing nutrients, a really important part to know is that a lot of plants contain these root hairs. In fact, all of them do. And those are actually what absorb all the nutrients in a root system. It's not these big branches from your taproot or your primary root or your secondary root. It is the root hairs that absorb the water and absorb the nutrients in a root system. So now that we have gone over our root system, we're going to continue going up and go into our shoot system. And here in our shoot system, what you need to know is that if you continue down from your main root, your taproot, all the way up, it branches into your main stem. And so for your main stem, what you need to know about that is that it provides support for your plant growth, and it also supplies nutrients and your water to your plant. So here we're going to look at our leaf blade, or our leaf. So what that is it's comprised of two different parts, and the first part is the blade. So a lot of times we can see leaves in various shapes and sizes. They might have 3 pointed leaves, 5 pointed leaves, a singular point leaf, but that is always known as your blade. Secondly, you have the part that extends outwards, the part that you can rip off. It dries if it falls off. That is called your petiole, and that attaches to your main stem there. And so those will always fall off during changing seasons. Those will fall off if they're not getting enough water. If they're dried out, just a lot of times those will fall off easily too if you pick them or if they are being smushed. So you have to be very careful with them, especially if you have close plants together, living in a close contact. Next, you have your vegetative shoot, and that's pretty much another little branch piece that stems off of the main stem, which from there, other leaves will grow from them. Continuing up, you have your auxiliary bud. So from here, that's pretty much a little bud that lives in between a stem and your main stem, and that little bud will either turn into a new bud for a leaf or a branch. And so that allows your plants to look more bushy, more bulky whenever they continue to grow. Continuing upwards, we have our node and our internode. So I call this the naked branch. It's really always naked until a little auxiliary bud grows onto that little piece also. And so the purpose of that is just whenever another auxiliary bud grows on it, another branch will grow off of it. And this continues to allow a plant or a tree even to look more dense, just look more full, and allows it to look more pretty. And then finally, all the way up, you have your apical bud. And so you see here, there's one down here also, but that is something that is really cool because with these apical buds is that they do not open until the next season. So a lot of times when you see plants with open buds now, that is something from the previous season. So this pretty much just ensures that the plant will continue to have some sort of growth, either a new branch, a new leaf, or a new petiole to continue to grow into the new season. And so you'll see them a lot of times if it's a baby tree, it'll be all the way at the very top, so that way it continues to sprout. Also just depends on what type of plant it is, if it's a perennial plant or if it's just one season plant, then it will be there only for a certain amount of months or weeks. And then finally you have your flower. So flowers are what you know as your vascular plant's reproductive organ, and that is also the prettiest part of your plant. So that's pretty much it. So you